Hey, so a lot of y'all been wondering where I've been at and why I haven't posted. I talked about it a little bit on one of the live streams with a couple different panels, and I appreciate all those people. American Amy, Wolvie, Arden, Erie County. There's a couple other panels that I may have been on. I think I was on Chuck Bronson's panel before a little while ago. But pretty much look at this image, and that's the reason why I haven't posted on my YouTube channel at all since this posting. The only reason I'm posting right now is because I'm working on something, and I already have a lawsuit filed in regard to this issue, and I'm working, I filed 2 cease and desist to make sure this doesn't happen again, as well as prior restraint as well. And I've already contacted the Department of Justice and FBI, as well as seeking temporary restraining orders and some preliminary injunctions as well for this incident and another incident that I just became aware of that's similar to this without any basis. Like, I don't even know where it's coming from. So pretty much made up false situations, but I'm doing what I can do. Haven't been in the best of health lately. So been in out the hospital, or going to doctors and different things like that. But that's not the reason I haven't been posting. The reason I haven't been posting is because this affidavit of or warrant of stating probable cause for alleged incident that I had nothing to do with. And as you can see, if you read it, my YouTube channel was used against me illegally. If you look at my YouTube channel, I haven't posted for 2 years, so this will be the first video. But also, my YouTube channel doesn't show what's stated in the affidavit. So I never engaged in confrontations with police ever. So for that to be put on a warrant for a situation I didn't even do, wasn't even nowhere near, it was pretty ridiculous. But it just goes to show you, when you try to do something positive, people, want to use it against you. And as you can see, legal activity was used against me. So just want to let people be aware. We got to be careful. I can't even say you got to be careful. It's just, people will try to pull fast ones, for their own reasons. So you just got to be prepared for, I guess I would say, the BS. But yeah. So just review the document, and then I'll go into my written records request and some other things, probably in another video. So I do, before I cut out, sorry about that, I do gotta inform you, this case was no price, because everybody doesn't know. This case was no price by a public defender after, I guess, a year and a half, almost 2 years. The reason it was no price because the district attorney reviewed the footage and they could tell that it wasn't me. Unfortunately, I will be in contact with the district attorney's office, but they don't review case files to their fullness or completeness until the case is close to trial. So that's one of the reasons why it took so long for it to go away. I wanted it to get dismissed. I wanted my attorney at the time to suppress the witness identification in the witness statement because it wasn't me. And the reason how she came to the conclusion based on my photo being put up illegally in the building, and the reason why it was put up, I wanted a suppression hearing, but the public defender trained in criminal defense, she said she wanted to do a no prize, so we ended up doing a no prize. I filed my own expungement, got it expunged within 3 months, but I did have some disagreements, with my attorney, but I will say she is a good attorney, and but I did want to get it dismissed versus no prize, just based on the footage being, used illegally, not obtained illegally, but used in the reason for it. So I think it would have worked. She didn't think the judge would go for it, but it's not a matter of going for it. The judge should have ruled and suppressed it and dismissed it, but we didn't have to do that because she knew of another way, although it took a little while for us to get that all squared away. There was some lack of communication before we got to this, or we got to that point. But the case was, like I said, no pros back in May of 2023. So I was definitely happy for that. But yeah, that's something that happened. So that's why I have not been able to post. Well, I'm not gonna say not been able to post. That's why I haven't been posting, because when you see that on a warrant, it's very disheartening. So very discouraging, and it's something that shouldn't have happened. So that's the reason. There's other reasons as well that involve, the negative effects of that and what it all entails, but that's going to be, I don't want to get into incompleteness, because I do have a pending federal civil rights lawsuit for prior restraint, which involves this situation and some other things as well. So I don't want to, go into detail, because they're going to want to subpoena this. So, or I'll have to, disclose it. So, mainly if you want to know all the reasons to why I haven't posted, most of them are because of this situation, but I'm not going in complete detail because I have to do that in the lawsuit. So, no need for me to do it now, and then lawyers try to pick it apart and use it against me, or saying, he said this date. So, but yeah, let's go into the records request, and then hopefully I can give you guys another video for something else. This is James, and we're going to be talking about my records request and the records request of Shakur Capital. So the first one we will talk about is let's do the sheriff's office. So, I've submitted multiple records requests to the sheriff's open records officer, and they are represented by the city attorney's office. And I think there is some illegal activity going on, or some bad advice being given or exchanged in regard to service, in regard to making sworn affidavits, and some of the reasons they're providing for not providing the records. So, because both employees are public employees, their communication is subject to records requests. Additionally, attorney-client privilege will be breached if there's unlawful activity. That's one of the exceptions to attorney-client privilege. So if fraud is involved, those records can be released to the public. So So that's what we're looking to get. So I filed one probably in November or December sometime, and I was supposed to get a response back, and I was busy and time ran out and I didn't file an appeal. So now they never responded. So now I have to refile it, and I added some additional items. So I'll read the request a little bit, and then I'll tell you what I expect to find in the request once it is fulfilled, and I'll tell you about some of the delays I expect. So I'm going to do this kind of quick, because I got to go through so many. So pretty much the agency open records officer, you put the person's name, and I requested all communications between that open records officer and the third party surveillance video footage that third party security company offers. Because pretty much what I did an Act 22 request for some video footage while I was there, just to get some B-roll footage and just to have a footage and talk about I was filling out a complaint and I just wanted the video footage of me doing it. And they didn't want to provide it, so I did appealed that, and I also requested images as well. And their reason for not providing it, they stated that they didn't have the records, they didn't possess the records. So that's fine, but under our law, you're supposed to contact the third party and obtain the records. So I'm seeking the records of the open records officer contacting the third party security company to get the records. And I anticipate, unfortunately, they wouldn't do it, so they're not going to be any records of it. But that'll be, better, because it'll show, unfortunately, that it didn't follow the law. So that's the first thing in the request. And there's a date range. Then I also requested that communication and emails and phone call logs as well in regard to that specific situation. I requested all communications between that open records officer and the city attorney that was representing them on that matter, and I put a date range, and then I also put an extended date range. So the reason for that is because I initially filed it for a specific date, and then I extended it because they've communicated after that based on some of the, I can tell based on some of the appeals and the court files that they've made. So pretty much I'm trying to find out, did this open records officer contact the third party to seek the records? Unfortunately, I don't believe they have. And has this attorney and this open records officer, conspired to, not provide these records, illegally. So the communications, the emails, will kind of show that. Fortunately, based on the law, we should be able to get these records. It's probably going to be a fight for them because people don't like following the law, unfortunately. So that's the first one. If they do provide the records and they fess up to it, that would make things a little smoother, but we don't know if that's going to happen. Okay, the next one we're going to do is the Citizens Police Oversight Commission. So I informed this agency that I would be doing some records requests. I didn't want to. I tried my hardest not to. But I asked for some information if they could just provide it, and they always refused. They never wanted to provide it, so I just did a records request, and now they have to provide it. Now they're going to try to get out of it, or the city attorney is going to try to get them out of it, but it's most likely not going to work. They've already used a lot of different excuses, although I do believe, they may use some more and some illegal tactics, but we have a First Amendment prior restraint claim that has been accepted on the books. Well, I ain't say on the books, but on the docket. And, so we'll go from there. But pretty much this is what I requested. I requested the salary of all CPOC employees and the salary of the commissioners of the CPOC board. I requested a photo ID of all CPOC employees. Also requesting their work schedules, for example, home or in office. So pretty much I just want to know their work schedules so we can better understand who's in office and who's home and how, that works and what's the benefits and negatives with that, because it's relatively a new thing because of COVID. City employees normally don't work from home. So I'm indifferent on that right now, but it is what it is. I'm requesting IT training, documentation, because I used to call them quite a bit to find out different things. And I was told by their employees that they didn't know how to transfer phone calls. And that's sometimes normal in certain organizations or companies, but it is something they should know. So I requested documentation on training, on the software training as far as working the phones. I requested records for employees, staff meetings for the year 2024 and other meetings that the CPOC employees are required to attend. The reason I requested this is just so me, citizens, and anyone can know when they are in meetings. So when you call, you won't get through, or if something comes up and you need to talk to them, you can know that during this time frame they have this meeting, they have that meeting, or they're expected to attend this meeting. So these requests, are legitimate requests, and for the benefit of the community. I requested how many internal affair complaints have they received from January and February 2024, and I requested the type of the complaints. There's different categories for complaints, I believe, so that's why I requested that. I also requested they provide the total of how many complaints they received in the year 2023 and how many have they referred to the PPD-IA. So they could receive 50 complaints and they could refer 25. I'm not saying that is the case, but I'm saying that I'm seeking those records to see how many complaints they are referring. I'm not saying they're doing this, but this is a good example. Let's say you put a complaint in and they talk you out of referring it to the internal affairs. I'm not saying this happened, but I'm just inquiring to better understand as well. Let's see. I requested the names and title of an employee who sent me an email response, and I put the date and time of the email because I asked them in the email and over the phone, and nobody wanted to provide me an answer. So I'm doing a records request on that. I also requested they provide the name of the person who was monitoring the email address on that date and that time. I mean, this is, simple stuff they should be able to provide relatively easily. So that's that request. So yeah, let's go to the next one. LNI. So I did a public records request or right to know request or open records request with the license and inspection review board or license and inspection. And this one is mainly pertaining to how their process in taking cases and reviewing them and trying to figure out, better understand why they're so slow at doing this and just get a better understanding of what they do and how they do it. So I requested they provide records from 2017, 18, 2019, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024 of the number of appeal hearings the LNI review, I'm supposed to say board, has heard for firearm revocations and denials for each of those years. So let's say it's 2017. Let's say you only heard 5 revocation hearings and 2 denials. But pretty much for each year, I want to know how many cases they have heard in regard to firearms. Also provide the number of appeals for firearm denials and revocations for those years. So I wanted to know how many were filed. And this is important because I am a Second Amendment advocate, and people are possibly getting their rights violated or getting screwed over because the massive delay. And the city has been sued, and they've by FPC, and they have lost. But right now I contacted FPC and they haven't reached back out, and it doesn't seem like they're doing anything. So, but we'll see. But yeah, they haven't really addressed this. But we'll see what these records produce. I requested provide how many appeals have been submitted to L&I review for the year of 2023 for all appeals in general. So I'm requesting how many appeals have they received, period, no matter what it is, and then provide the amount of appeals received for firearm denials and revocations for 2023. So I'm requesting how many total appeals have they received in regard to anything that the License Inspection Board deals with. Then I'm requesting specifically how many appeals have they received for firearm denials and revocations for the year 2023. Now, all this should be relatively easy, but some of this will be difficult. And unfortunately, the city attorney represents a lot of these agencies, and they don't really follow the law, and they don't really do a good job in adhering to it either. I request to provide records for how many firearm denial and revocations hearings have been heard from May 8th, 2023 until February 9th, 2024. So that's pretty much a specific date range that I'm asking. Pretty much from late last year till now. I requested to provide the number of appeals ahead of appeal number HA2023002006 and provide the list in format showing the date the appeals were filed. So pretty much I have a hearing or appeal that I filed, and I want to know how many cases are in front of it. So I'm not asking to see these people appeals. I'm asking to see the appeal number. So, and how many are in front or pretty much. Is it in front or behind? Yeah, in front of that appeal number. Provide records on how many total employees L&I has in total, and how many they have handling appeals, and how many handling emergency appeals. I actually know the answer to that, so that was a dumb question, but nevertheless, that doesn't really matter. Please provide their names, last name, title, and work phone number and emails. So pretty much the information that I'm requesting for is their names and their titles and their phone numbers. That's just so the public can reach them if they need to be reached. So unfortunately, city agencies like to provide phone numbers that go straight to voicemail, or they don't pick them up. So that's just an extra little thing I try to do, is get contact information. Please provide records of how many phone calls L&I receives. Please provide records of how many calls L&I missed or did not answer. So that's one request from L&I. So boom, that's that. So we have another one. Okay, here's another one for LNI. Okay, provide a salary for 3 of the LNI commissioners listed here. So there's 3 board members. This is public information. Sherelle, Hillary, and that's Ryan. I didn't say their last name, but you can see the records request, because the records request is a public record, and I posted it on my Twitter. The filing or the receipt, the response to the filing. The city requested a 30-day extension on all of them, and I'm in the process of getting a temporary restraining order from them doing that anymore. But we'll see how the judge is taking a while to make a ruling. So, but anyway, the second request: please provide documents of educational training of these 3 LNI board of commissioners listed here. I state their names. Received on Second Amendment rights under the United States Constitution and under the PA Constitution. Also provide documentation training of PA gun laws title 186109, license and revocation. Provide the name and the title of the person who trained them and the date and time and the year, along with the name and materials used to train them, or the name of the class and the section used to train them on these areas. The reason I requested this information is because these people are in charge of making a decision on not emergency firearms, but they're in charge of making a decision on emergency hearings for revocations and I believe possibly denials. I think they're both is under the same category. So if these people unfortunately aren't trained in this area, they shouldn't be making these decisions. And I was told by one of the commissioners that they've reached out to the police gun license lawyer, the police firearms unit lawyer, to seek guidance, which is a conflict of interest, because these are the people doing the denials. So you reached out to another agency who's doing the denial that you're supposed to be making a decision on. So that's why I requested that information. So the third request is provide all records of 3 LNI Board of Commissioners listed. I state their names. And then I say of communicating with PPD gun lawyer Bradford Richmond in regards to emergency hearing appeals, including emails, text messages, phone records, example, date, time, length of call, meeting in public or personal cell phone records from 2021 until 2023, including date and time of each contact. So this is like investigative work. Pretty much we're just trying to see how much education these 3 commissioners have in regard to making these decisions on these emergency hearings, and then provide the contact information. Provide the communications that you guys had with a third party that you shouldn't have probably had, and then provide the salary. So the salary, I request the salary is just to we got young people, anybody might want these positions. These people may be retiring, I don't know. So I like to get these people's salary so people can see different opportunities that the city has or these agencies have, if they want to work there. So that's that. That was the LNI. I only had 2 for them, I believe. Now we're going to go into the PPD records request. Hopefully this isn't too long, but pretty much they requested a 30-day extension, but these are the records that I requested. So please provide names and badge numbers, title of all employees who work at the PPD HQ, Open Records Department, Office of Research and Planning. Please provide badge numbers and the police stations, name and photo ID of all officers listed on this list of officers trained on PAV Hicks, in which 6,000 officers named in addition to newly hired officers, names, badge numbers, stations, and photos, and additionally add officers' salaries as well. So pretty much I requested, probably in 2021, a list of all the officers trained on a PA Supreme Court case called PAV Hicks, which states possession of a firearm is a reasonable suspicion of a crime. And they gave me pretty much all the officers' names who were trained on this. So this was over 6,000 officers. So now I'm requesting their names, their badge numbers, the station they work at, and their photo ID. And the reason I'm requesting this information is so the public can know who these officers are, what area they work in, just for better community relations, so these people put a face to the name and the badge number or whatever. So that's the reason why I'm requesting that information. It's all public records, so it shouldn't be an issue with getting it. Same way they have the picture of the captains inside the police stations and the people underneath them. There's no reason we shouldn't be able to get the name of the officers, their badge numbers, and their the stations that they work at. So that's what I requested. I already got the 6,000 officers' names, so there are some new hires, so I guess it'll be a little bit more than that, but that's the reason for that request. Just so people can, it'd be better community relations in regard to citizens, knowing who this officer is, he work at this station, their badge number. So that's the reason for that. So we'll see how soon we can get that information. I did another records request for the police department in regard to the internal affairs division. And the reason I did this records request is because the internal affairs, I didn't really like the way they handle certain things, and I don't think the lines of communication are open, and people, you can't communicate with them as well as you should. So I requested the names of all the internal affairs staff and investigators, the deputy commissioner, and the staff that works underneath the deputy commissioner. I requested their names, badge numbers, email address, and personal office / desk work public phone numbers. A lot of these, like I said, a lot of agencies have phone numbers, but they aren't. You can't access the people, or you can't get in contact with them. So these will be likely more direct numbers, so people can get in contact with them and get a better understanding or whatever questions they may have. I requested information on an outage system, an outage. They had a website outage that lasted for, I guess, from November to about December, maybe until January. So I requested information in regard to that and requested they provide documentation on it and when it was resolved. The reason for that is you couldn't put more than one complaint in, and the complaints that were put in were delayed. So they were delayed in being received, so that, they're delayed in being investigated. And that is an issue. I do community activist work, so it's an issue that I wanted to get addressed, or see how it was addressed or how long it took to address. So I spoke to an investigator about it. I told him that I would, be inquiring about this information, and he wasn't happy about it. I don't know why, but he's like, it's like not your business. But I'm like, this is public information. You know, citizens have a right, if there's an issue with something in the city or a public agency, for it to be addressed. I told him to him over the phone, so but I don't understand. He act like it was foreign for a citizen to want an issue addressed. That's a problem for citizens. But anyway, that's that. So that's why I requested that information. So I was hoping that we should have probably been able to get that information faster than 5 days, but we'll see. All right, let's see what else we got. COP, Allen High. I think that might be everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's just make sure. But yeah, those are the records requests that I just I actually submitted them about a week ago. I got a response. Like I said, they requested 30-day extensions on every records request that I put in. So, yep. I'll be back to you with an update in 30 days or a little after 30 days. I'll tell you this much. Most of these agencies aren't going to want to provide the information, but the law states that they have to. Nearly everything I requested is public. There's very few exceptions. They can try to use the exceptions, but the exceptions have been used before, and normally they're found and they're ruled against, especially if they're don't make sense. And unfortunately, that's what we deal with a lot. But we got to keep pushing. So I'll keep you guys filled in. Okay. 1 second. There was one more. All right. So there was one more. So I did a records request. This is, to the Philadelphia Police Open Records Officer. And this records request was for an audit trail that I learned from James Freeman. So you do an audit trail first, then you request the video footage. Just to be safe. So if you're going to do body cam, request the audit trail of the body cam, then request the video. So anyway, I requested the audit trail, which falls under the right to know and not the Act 22. So I request the audit trail of all denied Act 22 requests from James Glover and Shakur Capital from 2019 to 2022. And the reason for doing this is I want to see who reviewed the footage and see who was aware of what laws, So let's say someone said they viewed the footage and they didn't, and they already said that in the statement. The records request would show that they've been being forthcoming and not telling the truth. So that's mainly the reason why I want to see the audit trail, and I'm going to see how many people viewed it. It's just to gain a better insight and to understand who's reviewing the body cam footage. So it's supposed to be reviewed by the open records officer. I know that it's supposed to be reviewed by someone in the law department as well. So pretty much I'm just making sure the people who are supposed to review it have reviewed it, and then possibly if someone higher than them have reviewed it, because that's fine as well, especially if there's a violation of rights. Hopefully they will learn from it and not do it again. So that's not an issue. So that's the reason why we're requesting this or these records, and that was the last one that I'll be talking about, because I think that's the last one. I think I submitted 7, so this is it for right now. So, I mean, unfortunately, hopefully I can get these records within, 35 days, but I may be able to get them sooner as well, because if the judge grants my temporary restraining order and my injunction, then I'll be able to get them sooner, because the city will have to produce them sooner for violate my First Amendment rights. But for right now, this will be able to, I will have to wait the 30 days if the federal judge doesn't rule on my temporary restraining order that I filed relatively recently. So, the judge takes a while to make rulings, so, in federal district court, and it's not really anything you can do to speed up the process. Although I am thinking about doing a records request, just to better understand the time frames because to be honest, the time frame for cases being accepted, and reviewed, or motions being ruled on, I know it's federal court, so they can kind of take whatever time, but I'm just trying to see if there is a time frame, or if I can get an understanding based on how they already operate. So that would be a FOIA request. I'm not sure I believe they can be FOIA, so it is something I'm thinking about possibly doing, just because I've talked to multiple people. I've talked to the supervising clerk. I've talked to the court deputies for the chambers of that judge. And I can't really get everything is what the lady say, in due. I don't have the word up here. What's the word she told me? In due course. So, that means it's not, there's whatever the natural flow is. So, which could be unfortunately forever. So that's, literally it can't be forever, but it can be, there's no time frame for it. So that's kind of an issue. So I'm just trying to understand, based on how the natural flow is, what the natural flow is, so I can expect or know when to expect a ruling may be coming, or when it possibly might be ruled on. So, but yeah, but that's the end of this. This seems to be a long video or audio clip, but apologies. Thanks for listening if you are. And I posted a link on Twitter that has all the records requests that I filed. So pretty much the link shows, it's a downloaded response from the city. So it shows the city responded, it shows that they requested a 30-day extension, and at the bottom of it, it shows my records request. So if you want to know exactly what it says, word for word, you want to know what names, you want to know each little detail, you can see that. Or you can do a records request and just request all the records requests that I submitted, or all the records requests I submitted this year. If you do that, they have to provide those records. So then they're probably going to request 30-day extension for that if you do it. But it is what it is. But thanks. Until next time.